Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Together
therapist.
we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today, Brad, we're going to talk about 1-minute shin splint stretches that you can do for pain relief and cure.
All right.
But we do have to go into a little bit of the description of what shin splints is or are, because there are certain types where this is not really going to help right away.
Sure.
You're going to have some rest period too.
Right,
So.
yep.
Shin splints is a garbage can term, which means that it could be a lot of different things. One of the most common things that it is what we call medial tibial stress syndrome. So
Always nice to put a big word on there.
Sounds a lot worse than it is, Brad. Yeah. So if you look at the bone below here, this is the tibia, and this is the medial side. So this would be on the inside of your leg.
That's that bone. If you bump it against something hard, it hurts a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of muscles that are attached to this, and if they're tight, or if you have flat feet, or if you tend to pronate your feet in the vernacular of the therapist.
Now you're talking.
Those muscles are going to pull excessively on that bone,
right?
Especially if you're like a runner, and over time they'll actually weaken that bone, and you can get a stress fracture.
Right, which is like a hairline fracture. It's even hard to see on an X-ray.
Right, and in fact, you can also irritate the outer layer of bone.
And the big thing about them, they're pretty painful.
Yeah, they are, and I mean, if you have that, and we're going to show you a test to do to determine whether maybe you do.
There can be confusion between a shin splint and sometimes a hairline.
Right, or just the irritation of the outer bone, that inflammation.
Yep.
If you do have the inflammation or the bone fracture, the only way the doctor tells usually is they do a bone scan.
Right.
Like I said, the X-rays a lot of times don't even pick it up.
Right.
So let's talk about that first, Brad. Why don't you put your leg up on here? We kind of got things shown.
There it is, Bob.
Okay. So why don't you, can you get yourself in a position here? So there's two types of shin splints. This is the most common by far on the inside right here. This is where people feel it. But some people also get it on the outside here, and that's where we have the X. Can you see that, Lonnie, the X?
The anterior.
And that's just usually an overuse of these muscles, Brad.
Right.
And they're the muscles that lift the foot up and
pull that
bring
upwards,
the toes up. Yep. And this is the one I got, by the way.
Okay.
When I had shin splints, interestingly enough. So along here, if it is generally just overuse of the muscles, it's generally tender all the way along it.
So you're going right along the edge of that bone. You can feel your tibia there. It's just skin and bone. There's no muscle there, and just follow this direction, and where it drops off into the muscle and right along that edge.
Yeah, there's a couple muscles here that attach here, the soleus and the posterior tibialis, and they're the ones that we're going to show you how to stretch those, because if they're tight, they are going to give you more stress along in here. But let's say you go along and it's not tender all the way along, it's just tender in one spot.
Ow.
And in fact, maybe not even along the line, but across like this.
Yep.
That makes me more worried that you might have a stress fracture.
Sure. Yeah.
That's to me is one of the indicators. Is that the other indicator is if it's better in the mornings, because the stress fracture had a chance to rest all night long.
Yep.
Versus if it's muscles tend to tighten up overnight, and a lot of times they're worse in the morning.
When you first stand on it, it hurts.
Right.
More chance of being a shin splint versus a stress fracture, which is going to feel better when you get up and walk on it. But that reminds me, because we're forgetting of some of these things here, and there's a few people out there.
Oh, that's right. If you haven't watched our channel before, we provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free. We have a subscription button over here. Please take a second to do so. Hit the subscription button, and we upload every day.
You bet.
Going back to this, Brad, if it's muscle too, what tends to be is that the muscle is going to hurt when you do this. Like pull the foot up, and if I pull on it, so hold it once.
Yep.
Or if you turn your foot this way, turn it towards you.
So we're just doing some kind of isometrics in
or
different
if I push
directions.
down, that fires those muscles up, then there's a chance that it might be more muscle than just a bone fracture. So if you find out that you do have a stress fracture, these stretches are going to be good for the long run, but they're not going to give you relief. You got to stop running, or at least reduce your running.
Right.
Maybe you're going to do working out in a pool.
Right.
You're going to do biking. You're going to do more cross training. You got to do something to calm things down.
Right, because that's the source of the injury. We need to minimize or get rid of the source to give it heal time.
It's just not going to get any better,
Yeah.
is it, Brad?
Yeah.
So Ice is always good for these things.
Sure.
And the most common cause, I think, as I alluded to, is that people who are a little bit flat-footed, or if they their arch tends to break down while they're running. So,
so their foot ends up going out this way with the weight bearing.
yeah, and
So
that
it's
puts
here.
stress on certain of the muscles.
Yep.
So you may want to get an arch support or something like that.
Sure.
That's a whole different animal, isn't
Yeah,
it?
we're going to make a video on that pretty soon, as well as the footwear for this.
All right, let's get to the stretches, Brad. That's already 5 minutes of the video. We haven't even talked about
Oh,
stretches.
well, let's get going.
You want to do the first one, just sitting down and pulling the calf
Yep.
towards you. You can do this with a belt. He's using the stretch out strap from OPTP.
Yep.
That's really a cool strap.
Which is really nice because you can wrap it around your foot like this, and we're going to pull here.
And again, we're stretching the muscles that are attached to that bone, and therefore, yeah, it gives you really a lot of leverage there, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
All right, the other key stretch, and I think I will do this against the wall, Lonnie, maybe, huh? Or I can do it, you know what? I'm going to take a walker. Pretend this is the wall.
You just
way.
need something to lean
Yeah,
against.
you're going to lean against. So you're going to do the stretch with the leg straight.
I'll point it out, Bob.
Okay. So I got the leg straight. There it goes down, doesn't it?
Yeah, that wasn't a
Okay.
very pretty leg anyways, Bob.
But the key thing that you want to do, this is the one where you're going to get the posterior tibialis and the soleus, is you're going to do the stretch with the leg bent, the knee bent.
Flex the knee, but notice
I'm keeping the heel down.
heel is down here, but a knee bend, that's going to stretch the muscle down in here. Otherwise, we get the gastroc up behind the knee.
Yeah,
and
if-
you'll feel it.
If there was one stretch you want to make sure you're doing, this is it.
Sure.
This is actually very critical that you do this one. That's the one that's going to actually stretch it out. Now, let's say you are getting some shin splints on the front, like I was getting, Brad.
Right.
So then, in those cases, you're going to actually have to stretch the front part of the leg, which what you want to do is you put your feet down like this, and I'm leaning onto my foot, and I'm stretching the toes and the foot at the same time here.
See, so his toes are here, and there's a gap here. You want to push down on that to straighten the foot out as if, just like the stick, and you'll feel that stretch on the front
All the way
part.
along here. There's a way to do it standing too, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, this one depends on your flexibility and,
And
your
your body
balance.
type.
But I'm going to go like this,
But he's grabbing the toes too.
way out
Yeah.
on the toes like this. And, ooh, there it goes. That feels good, actually, Bob. Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good.
I'm
Now,
going to keep stretching, Bob. It's good.
now let's say you're a foam roller guy. Where did our foam roller
we'll
go?
just use this one, Bob.
Yep. So again, if you're more on the front part, that's where you're having trouble. You can go ahead and kneel on this. I like this foam roller because it's a little softer.
Yeah, if you get the low intensity, the low density one, that's the word.
So see how I can work the way along the
Right
muscle.
here.
This really does stretch it out nice.
If you notice, Bob has his bottom or buttocks tilted this way, so he's getting more on the muscle. You don't want to foam roll over the bone. You want to get that roller over that meaty
Yeah.
part, that anterior tib, where that X is, right over
Yeah,
here.
so I was not on this. I was leaning this way a little bit.
Right. So the
order to get
femur's angled. It might be hard to see on the video.
You really want to go another foot on top of it. Oh boy.
that
You're
gets
really
in there,
working
doesn't it, Bob?
But the more common one that you're going to want to do, the more would be doing it this way, Brad.
No.
Now you're going to get the soleus and posterior
Sure,
tib,
yep.
so you're going to be like this. Again, you can start off working on both.
Here, maybe we should, let's, so you can see that. Ignore the leg, but just see the anatomy there.
Yep. So now here I'm rolling on again the soleus and the
Yep.
posterior tib here.
And if, like I said, you could cross over, but
Yep.
that's pretty aggressive.
This actually isn't too bad, Brad.
Boy, you are tough, Bob. When I do that, it just,
Does it really?
oh, it puts me through the roof.
You always were kind of a little soft, weren't you, Brad?
I'll give you soft. Anyway, back
So
to the stretching.
this is a great way to stretch that one.
Yep, it is.
To
Yep.
get it ready for a run and to get to. So the other thing you can do is a couple of strengthening exercises. I mean, you can do the alphabet with your foot.
Yep.
Draw using, as you said, like if you taped a piece of chalk to the
Yep,
toe,
right.
and you were drawing the letters with the toe.
Imaginary
A, B.
chalkboard there, yep.
Toe raises is a good one to do. Toe raises and heel raises, Brad.
Right, so you're working both sides, the anterior and the
Yep.
posterior tib.
believe it or not, what they found actually with a lot of people who have shin splints, working your core and strengthening your hips. It gives you a lot better control when you're running and such, so that you don't, the legs don't get angulated as much.
It starts at the core.
It always does.
Say. It doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of times, but it does.
Some general piece of advice for shin splints, 10% rule if you're going back into running. Don't want to increase your distance by more than 10% every week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't go from 5 or 2 miles up to 5 miles. I mean, that big jump.
Right.
You're always going to worry about the camber of the road. Is it camber? Is that what it's called?
I think that we're
The slant of the road?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're always running down the same side of the road, you're putting the same stresses on the legs. So you want to run down one side and then come back the same side.
We're talking about they make the roads like this so the water runs off. You don't really see it sometimes, but it's there.
So if you're running on a track, you want to run one direction on the track and then also reverse it on the track.
Right.
I always had to tell the track
some
runners
fitness
that.
places, they alternate days. One day it's clockwise, next day it's counterclockwise.
Avoid hills and want to make sure you cross-train.
Yeah, cross trains is critical. I think biking is a great way. You're working the legs, you don't have the impact, and you're going to get aerobic, you know.
Yep, very good.
Yes.
All right, remember, Brad, we can fix just about anything.
Yeah, we're working on everything except for that broken heart. There it is.
We're going to fix it someday. Thanks.